We are back with Carolina Hurricanes 2021-2022 season report cards. And in today's episode, it is time to take a look at Teuvo Teravainen's season this year. Where did he stack up for me? Where did he stack up for the listeners? Find out in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, I'd like to thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this lovely Monday afternoon. And follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes. Myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96. And I'd like to remind you that this episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. And we are back with handing out the season report cards for the Carolina Hurricanes. In the last one, we did Sebastian Aho. Before that, we did the team as a whole. And in today's episode, it is time to take a look at Teuvo Teravainen. For me, he had a really, really good season. I really didn't have a whole lot of negative for me with him. And for me, I give him an A on the season. I thought he had a really good season. Like I said, not a whole lot of negative for me. You guys, the listeners, 58.3% gave him a B. And only 33.3% gave him an A. There's some other votes in there, but you know, I don't agree with that. I do not. And I think that it is honestly freshness from the playoff elimination and the fact that Teuvo isn't a goal scorer. I think that's where a lot of that comes in there as far as folks giving him a B on the season rather than an A. Like I said, personally, I don't agree with it. It wasn't a perfect season by any means, and there's obviously some room for improvement. He had some moments where he didn't look the best throughout the season, but as a whole, I thought he had a really good season and a good playoff as well. And diving into the positives for him, like I said, it was a lot of positive. I didn't have a whole lot of negative with him. And first off, I thought he had a really great bounce back season from injury because last season he played 21 games. This year he played almost all of them. I want to say he played 72, something like that. But he played the large majority of the games this year. And like I said, he played really well. And I think, had, very much like some of these other guys, like Sebastian Aho and some of these other ones, had he not gotten COVID, he very well could have played all 82 games this year. He played 77 total games this year. And like I said, he bounced back really well. He's obviously still a great playmaker. And like I said, he stayed relatively healthy this year. Like I said, a little bit of COVID issues there around the end of 2021. But we had a lot of guys dealing with that there. We had a lot of guys. And again, he very well could have set career highs this year had he not gotten it. His career high in goals for a season is 23. He had 22 this year. His career high in assist is 55. Maybe he doesn't hit that. He finished with 43 assists on the year, which is still really, really good, of course. And so does he break that career high this year? I don't know. Probably not. But again, he could have set a new career high in goals this year. He very well could have set or got closer to a career high in total points. His career high there is 76. Also coming in that 18-19 season, he finished the season with 65. So it's the second best he's had in his entire season. But he, again, had he not gotten COVID, he very well could have set a new career high in goals, I feel. And I do think that, he is a guy that the Hurricanes, he's one that they're going to want to continue to build around. And he's part of that nucleus and core group that they constantly talk about. And they're going to continue to expect big things out of him next year and going forward as well. And we all know he's going to deliver on that. And one thing this year that I did like is that he didn't seem as hesitant to shoot the puck. And because that has really been one of the biggest gripes against him, that is something that falls in my negatives as well, is how little he does shoot. And he's always a pass first player, and that's fine having that mentality, but he does need to be able to shoot as well, because Hurricanes got in some slumps, and we'll talk about more of that later. But he did seem less hesitant to do that this year. He also got his 100th goal as a Carolina Hurricane. He got his, so that is obviously really, really good. It just kind of shows how long he's been here at this point as well, that he's had that. And he also led the team in the playoffs with points, with 11 points in 14 games played. He had 4 goals. And that's not something we really expected to see there, is Teuvo Teravainen leading the team in that regard. That's something we expected from like Sebastian Aho or Andrei Svechnikov or someone like that. Not Teuvo Teravainen. So obviously that is very commendable for him. Great job there. But again, he's not the guy that we expected to do that as well. And just looking at his season as a whole, like I said, he had 65 total points, 22 goals, 43 assists. He had 9 power play goals, 2 shorthanded goals, plus 22 rating. Again, I kind of take it or leave it with plus minus, but that is a really good rating there. And he averaged almost 18 minutes on ice. He had 17.41 was his average. And he's a guy he goes out there and you know what you're going to get from him. You're going to get some really good shots set up. And I do think that we look at Teuvo's season, and I think it was a really, really good success. Again, he's coming off of his season where he played like a little over 20 games. Like I said, 21, 22 games last year, because he was dealing with being hurt so much. And when he was out there, he was kind of iffy. But again, he wasn't really playing this year. So for him to bounce back the way that he did was really fantastic this year. And like I said, not a whole lot of negative from me this year for him, but we will dive into that as well as his exit interview right after this quick break. This episode is brought to you by Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is lifestyle friendly. Whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, Athletic Greens is the one for you. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, no artificial anything, while still tasting good. It supports better sleep quality and recovery. It supports mental clarity and alertness. And one of the best things about it is Athletic Greens uses the best products based on the latest science with constant third-party iterations and third-party testing. and costs less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than that cold brew that you're always getting on the way to work. And it's also cheaper than getting all of those different supplements. You're investing in all-in-one nutritional insurance. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews. It's recommended by professional athletes, trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. So right now, it's time for you to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Now we've discussed the positive from Teuvo Teravainen's season. Now it's time to dive into his exit interview from the other day and just hear what he had to say about this season.
It was kind of hard to accept the fact that you won't be playing again tonight.
Yeah,
This format from the other.
yeah, it's really disappointing. I still really can't believe that it's over. I feel like just had all the tools to move forward, but I just couldn't do it.
You've been on a championship team, obviously, with Chicago. Did you feel like this team had all the quality, everything it needed to get to that point?
Yeah, for sure. We believe that we can win, and that's why it's really disappointing. Just couldn't find the ways to beat them, so it's tough.
What is this offseason going to be like? I know last offseason there was a lot of change. It seemed like that was something that the team wanted to do to get to another level. Do you think that change needs to happen again, or do you think that you're just kind of a victim of circumstance a little with not moving on, and that maybe this group can move forward and advance?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, team's always not gonna probably stay the same, but I really like this team. Hopefully we can keep a lot of pieces, and this team is really going forward. I think we had the same core for a long time, and we're just getting more and more experienced, and these losses are really for sure making us better too, and we gotta learn from those. So I think we're still on the right path to win the Stanley Cup for hopefully next year.
How do the losses make you better?
What's that?
How do the losses make you better?
It's tough to lose, but it's sometimes just you lose, it makes you better maybe. So you know what you have to do better for next time. So I don't know.
Ian Cole talked about this team because he's been through these long stretches. He said this team needs to learn how to seize an opportunity. We were up 2-0 in both series, and it's on us. We didn't, and there's no one else to blame but ourselves for that. Is that sort of how you look at that?
Yeah, for sure. You're up 2 and you go into the road. Just gotta make sure you get one win out of those 2 road games, and then we're looking in a pretty good situation. And we just couldn't do it. And against Boston, we couldn't do it against the Rangers. So it's just really on us, and just gotta find the way to win that one game, get the bounces, whatever it is, and special teams, somehow you gotta win one game, and it's tough, and I can't believe we didn't win one road game.
What did you think from maybe the start of the year to the end of the year about Seth and the way he grew into an NHL player, and obviously showed a lot of toughness in the postseason too? You know, what did you think about his year, and then what his future holds?
Yeah, I'm not really surprised how good he played and how good he was good at start, but he just kept going and kept getting better. And as a young guy, it's unbelievable how good he played at the end of the year, and just he's strong and fast and everything, and he's only going to get better. So that's really good for us. So I'm really happy for him.
Is it encouraging, speaking of guys like him, but there's 5 or 6 of you that are still young and maybe not have reached your best hockey yet. Is that the most encouraging thing you guys as a group have together, your young core?
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot of good young players, and they've been around the league still, even they're young. So, I mean, the whole league is pretty young too. But it's just, I think our young guys still have that experience, and everybody knows we can get better too. So that's good.
A little bit off the beaten path of the team's getting their first outdoor game next year. You played in an outdoor game. What's that experience like, and how exciting is it?
Yeah, that's going to be cool. That's a special game, and it's always awesome to have those kind of games. And I mean, it's still far away, but it's something for sure. Nice little thing for next year.
All right, thanks, Teuvo.
All right,
Thank you.
So listening to Teuvo, he's obviously got a few words. We all know, he doesn't really say a whole lot. But I do think one thing, taking away from that is just the frustration of losing in the playoffs. I think he really said it best that this team, they had to win on the road, and it's hard to believe that they didn't win one road game this postseason, and that was a big downfall of this postseason. And we're going to dive into what negatives he had for his regular season and just season as a whole right after this quick break. The Stanley Cup final is set, and the NBA finals are going on right now. And if you want to place your bets on any of those games, betonline.net is your number one source for all of your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including this year's NBA championship, NHL championship, MLB scores, and of course the latest fighting news from MMA, boxing, and UFC. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, as I mentioned, I really didn't have a whole lot of negative for Teuvo this season. And it was honestly kind of hard to try to come up with something because there wasn't a whole lot when it came to him. Like Sebastian Aho, all right, he kind of disappeared in the playoffs. That was a big negative for me there. And with Teuvo, yes, he did lead the team in points in the playoffs with 11 points, but he only had 4 goals in 14 games. And as a whole in the season, I did say he was less hesitant when it came to shooting, which is really good for him. Again, he was 1 goal away from tying his career high and 2 away from breaking it. But I do think that especially come playoff time, I would have liked to have seen him shoot more, honestly. And because it was so obvious of just how this team's offense was struggling, and you're one of the few guys that has some momentum going and has something going in the playoffs, I would have liked to have seen him shoot a bit more and try to. Again, he's not necessarily the guy that you expect to put the team on his back and, go down there, score a bunch of goals. But we also weren't expecting him to be leading the team in playoff points either. Now, were we? No. So I would have liked to seen him, just shoot more. Again, I know that's not his style. I know that. I don't expect him to go out and have a 40-goal season or anything like that. But especially going to the playoffs, I would have liked to seen him do a bit more when it came to actually trying to put the puck in the back of the net. And that's really it when it comes to negatives for me. And again, like I said, I think that is exactly why the majority of the listeners gave him a B, is because of the playoffs being so fresh there. And he's also a guy very much like Jacob Slavin. He's not necessarily a flashy player. He's not a Connor McDavid or a Leon Draisaitl or Nathan McKinnon or any of these guys that go out and have a bunch of the highlight reel stuff. Yeah, he has it from time to time, but that's not his game. And again, I don't expect him to change his game next year and go out and be a 40-goal scorer. I don't expect that at all. I know he is going to be a pass-first guy. But again, I would like to see him, if he has a really good shot lined up, take it. Don't pass the puck. Take the shot. That was my big criticism with him. And it's just, don't be so hesitant to take the shot. Again, like we all know, he has a heck of a shot. We'll see it from time to time. But it's just one of those things. He never uses it. And on one hand, it is something that teams aren't necessarily expecting him to shoot. They're expecting him to pass. So whenever he breaks it out, it's really good. But again, going back to the playoffs, again, I think that's kind of the most thing that's on everyone's brain is everyone else was struggling. You were the one guy that had something going. Should have taken some more shots, and that's really it for me when it comes to him. I think he had a really good season, and going into next season, I'd like to see him continue to build off this, be able to stay healthy. He was able to do that for the most part this year. I want to see him be able to stay healthy next year and just continue to develop his game. He had a really good season this year. I want to see that happen next year. He's a guy that's been around for a long time now. If I remember correctly, he's going to be heading into his either 9th or he's going to be heading into his 10th NHL season. I do want to see him, again, not necessarily in the locker room, not saying he's not, but I would definitely like to see him take a step in terms of being a leader on the team as well. Very much how, like I said, Sebastian Aho, that's something I wanted from him this year. That's something I want from Teuvo next year as well. He's been around for, it'll be 10 years now. I want to see him take that step in terms of being a leader on this team. I'm not saying he's not by any means, but I do want to see that from him next year as well. Not necessarily have a letter on the front of his jersey or anything like that, but yeah, I want to see him really just stepping up next year. And again, he does that stuff now, but I want to see him do it a little bit more. He's a guy, he's won a Stanley Cup. He knows what it takes. And he's been here for quite a while now. It's going to be his 7th season with the Hurricanes. Again, I want to see a little bit from him in terms of being more vocal on the team. That was something Sebastian Aho said, when it came to taking penalties, that maybe they should have, been more vocal about calling folks out about it. And again, that's something I want from Sebastian Aho. I want that from the entire leadership group of the team. That's something I want from everyone else as well. Is, hey, if someone's out there doing something stupid, like they took a dumb high stick penalty or whatever, I want to see these guys, especially the leaders on this team, call them out. Teuvo's a tenured vet at this point. And, he was this season now, but going into next year, his 10th season. He's been around for quite a while. Again, I want to see him really step up and be more vocal. Okay, I know that's not necessarily his thing, but I do think, if he's calling you out, it's big because he is so quiet. That's something I would like to see from him next year, but ultimately, we just got to wait till next season now. Hurricane season is done, and now we wait. So in the meantime, make sure you follow Locked On Hurricanes on Twitter and Instagram at @LO_Hurricanes. Myself on Twitter at JaredEllis_96, and subscribe on YouTube. And I'll talk to you in the next episode where we hand out yet another Carolina Hurricanes report card.